Good afternoon to all of you from the NorthCap University, and welcome to the NorthCap Masterclass, a series of talks wherein you get to listen to eminent thinkers, scholars, and leaders sharing their perspectives on what's going on in the world and how it concerns you as future professionals. And as I keep reminding you, the power of a great university is its people. It attracts the finest students and faculty. The NorthCap University has been just such a place, a natural meeting ground of talented students and faculty, as evidenced by the fact that our graduates are welcomed all over the world in leading companies as well as at top universities abroad. All that is for one reason only. At NCU, we are invested in your future. Just look at all the specializations we offer across engineering, management, and law, from cybersecurity to artificial intelligence to augmented or virtual reality to business analytics to digital marketing to latest trends in law and jurisprudence. We cover it all. We offer degrees that matter, and that makes us a top university. The same intent also drives our recent collaboration with Arizona State University, the leading American university. Our partnership is exclusively the first of its kind in India in terms of coverage, breadth, and depth. And all this designed to give you a degree that will be valued over the rest of your working life. I want to share some statistics with you, and this concerns India and China. Let's go back 25 years. In 1995, China was ranked number 25, and India's rank was in the country list of countries that got most patents. In 2020, last year, after 25 years, China is now fourth largest patent getters after US, Japan, and South Korea. India ranks ninth, but most of India's patents have come from outsourced R&D operations of the multinationals. In 1995, China's economy was about as large as India's. Today, it is 5 times larger. Most of our growth has come from trading and services. But China has grown in making products and exporting them and capturing export markets. Why am I telling you all this? What's the problem? The problem is we must, as country, we must make products, not just buy and sell them. Without this, our employment will remain a perpetual problem. A large country cannot just trade in materials and goods and services and not make anything significant. Concerns you. That's why Prime Minister Modi often talks about Make in India. There are many reasons why, as a country, we are so much in trading and services. 53% of our economy is today in services. But the major one is shortage of design skills and innovating minds. To make products, we have to design them. And today we have a guest who thinks about design and the thinking that must go into it. Let me introduce Dr. Rathinavel. Dr. Anbu Rathinavel is the co-founder of School of Design Thinking. He has served as the head of training for government's e-marketplace, a path-breaking initiative of Prime Minister Modi. He has completed his master's in manufacturing and Ph.D. in artificial intelligence from Ohio State University in the US. With life architecting as his mission, he works on design mind, engaging learning culture, mindfulness, and leadership development. He uses design thinking as a transformational problem-solving technique for achieving excellence. And today he will tell you how he has used design thinking in his professional journey. Dr. Anbu, welcome to the NorthCap University, and over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Milan. It's great to be connecting, and thanks for the invitation to be part of the journey where you get the new students to get aligned to the agenda of NorthCap University, and you have rightfully very nicely captured it, saying that you are investing in their future. Right, I have also seen the campus a couple of times, and the design lab that you have to showcase the what the future could hold good for the students. Right, so glad to be part of this. Right, and good afternoon, everyone. Excellent to be connecting. I'm really excited to be connecting with all of you, especially at a juncture where you are starting your next journey. Right, I should say next journey in your life. Whatever has happened till now is one journey, and what you are starting now is a next journey in your life. And I'm glad that I could connect with you at this juncture and share some of the experiences. Right, there was a good data that Prof had given in terms of China versus India and whatnot. Right, we all know we have been grappling with that, and therefore how India as a country could really put itself much more stronger in the global arena. And all that is possible by students like you. Right? It is always the case. It's only students like you who move on to be the Sundar Pichais and Nadalas, Narayana Murthy's and Arun Jains and Sridhar Vembu and whatnot, right? So I think that's a very apt way to start. And we talked about design thinking. So let me stay with the word thinking for a second. Right, the National Science Foundation in the US at one point in time, several years ago, researched about how many thoughts cross our minds in a day. Right, in a day, how many thoughts comes into our mind? You'll be baffled. It's anywhere pegged at about 75,000 to 90,000 thoughts that crosses our mind every day. Unfortunately, out of which there are about roughly 60 to 75% of them are negative, or as we can call it in a very subtle way, useless thoughts. So therefore, if I can only observe my thoughts and design my day, wouldn't that be more powerful? Wouldn't that be more worthwhile? So I don't get bogged down by those negative, I call it the NSR, right? The non-stop radio in my head keeps on playing those negative thoughts. And believe me, psychology report says that it keeps on playing. You don't even put an effort, right? It just keeps on playing. But how it can actually impact, right? So I wanted to share with you a few things about how can you go about designing things, right? Yeah. So therefore, if I can control certain thoughts, if I can filter them out, right, control them, or the easiest is not give attention to those. Right? If you take some of the management gurus to all the way up to spiritual gurus, they would say, yeah, thoughts will come and go. Don't worry about it. As long as you are not reacting to it, as long as you are not playing to that thought, right? You just see the thought come and go. If at all, I can look into as an individual, can I not design my learning journey better? Right? Can I not have a very good few years in the campus, 3-4 years in the campus, right? Make it such a beautiful journey. Why not? And so let's look at that, friends, in terms of how do I leverage certain elements of design thinking. So therefore, I can have a better learning journey for myself, right? So that is the context for today. Okay, because we always say, yeah, so you all have finished your schooling, and of course you all have done great, and that's why you were able to get into NorthCap University. All that is great, wonderful job, wonderful work. But what we always say is, what got you here will not take you there, right? By there I mean your graduation. By there I mean you getting a degree to moving on to whatever you choose to do, be it a postgraduate program, be it a program abroad, or get into corporate, or be an entrepreneur and start your own journey. Whatever the case may be, Whatever you did great got you up to here, which could be how you approached your schooling, right? Which could be whatever great things that you have done, however you have handled your pressure and whatnot. Or there may be cases where some of you, hopefully not, but some of you needed that constant prodding and, what should I say, corrections and I don't want to use the word discipline, but corrections and things like that by your parents or your siblings or your relatives or your friends or family, right? Don't do this, try this, there's exam tomorrow, study, you're not studying, you're watching TV, you're watching IPL, playing video games. And for many of you, that may not even be there if you have come a little far away from the university, you're staying in the campus, that's not going to be there. So that guidance is, when it's not available, you got to find other ways to take you to where you want to be 4 years from now, right? So I just wanted to leave this thought with you, because we are not going to go into talking about learning as a process and things like that. We are about designing a good journey for ourselves, right? Nevertheless, this is from Carl Rogers, right? I want to talk about learning, but not the lifeless, sterile, futile, quickly forgotten stuff that's crammed into the mind of poor, helpless individual, tied into a seat by thoughts of conformity. I'm talking about learning, the insatiable curiosity, friends, the curiosity that drives the adolescent boy to absorb everything he can see or hear or read about, gasoline engines in order to improve efficiency and speed of his cruiser. I'm talking about the student who says, I am discovering, right? I am drawing in from the outside and making that which is drawn in a real part of me. I'm talking about any learning in which the experience of the learner progresses along these lines. No, that's not what I want. Wait, this is closer to what I'm interested in, what I need. Here it is. Now I'm grasping, comprehending what I need and what I want to know. Friends, that's why I wanted to share this with you. It is all about what I want to know. And we will see a little bit later, how does that happen? It is not anymore that you're going to be studying to make sure just pass the exams and go.
Just Desh, just
Sorry?
137 participants.
Okay, could somebody go on mute? Okay. All right, thank you. So it is not about just the grade. The next 4 years, so the next number of years, folks, that you are in the campus, you have a lot of freedom to try out different things. And I'm saying it with that little boundary there, right? Try out different things to make yourself better. And believe me, as we always say, right, along with freedom comes a lot of responsibility, along with the freedom of trying out different things. Between the freedom and the responsibility and your commitment, of course, it's going to determine who you will become right after you graduate. Yeah. Of course, some of you, hopefully not some of you, might have had different things that you wanted to do. For whatever reason, you may have taken up a program, may not be not for your 100% liking, but you ended up in it. That's okay. Forget the social pressure from now on. Forget that pressure. Because my brother said I have to do engineering, I'm doing it. Because my dad said I have to be, he's an engineer, I have to be an engineer. Right? I mean, I can connect with you. My brother was a mechanical engineer, so I started with mechanical engineering. But I made the best out of that. My passion was always computer science. When I joined engineering 2-3 decades ago, let's say 2.5 to 3 decades ago, computer science was just budding, right? with something called COBOL programming those days. And the computers were a room in the corner of the campus far away with multiple air conditioning, and you have to leave your shoes outside and go and not touch anything, right? But I had to take mechanical engineering, but no, I did not fall or crumble or with that pressure. I made the best out of it. I went on to eventually complete my doctorate in artificial intelligence itself, sticking to still the mechanical engineering. So you have arrived. Now, what can I do the best with what I have in front of me and not keep playing this movie in our head? Maybe this is not what I wanted something else. Yeah. And that, with that, friends, you can actually start designing your future in your head, right? It requires a little bit of cognitive cooperation. I have reached here. Why I reached, how I reached, should I have reached somewhere else? Should I have been doing medicine or whatever, if at all there is. And I'm saying this because there are many times students have raised this. You are here. Can you design your future in the mind first? The power lies in thinking about and designing the future in your mind first, right? So I'm going to have you, let's say, all of you in this session today, take, just close your eyes. Of course, open a fresh page in your notebook. Please open a fresh page in your notebook. If you don't have your notebook handy, which will be surprising, I'm sure you all have. In case if you don't, just take a fresh sheet of paper. Just visualize, where do you want to be? Who do you want to be after you graduate, or 10 years from now? Whichever one, I'm giving you a bit of that flexibility. Who do you want to be 10 years from now? Write it down. Just write it down. Take a couple of minutes. I'm going to give you that time. Take a couple of minutes. Write it down in a piece of paper, please. Okay, so those of you would have completed it. Whoever wants to, can you put it up in the chat box so we can see it? You can just type up whatever you have come up with. All right, there we go. Okay, so we got one. Okay.
Students not respond. It's the biggest problem for a lecturer. Non-responsive class.
So this is probably also the post-lunch syndrome. So we'll see. Okay, that's a good one from Divyansh, right? So sorry. Interesting, to become a research scientist. Okay, great. Okay, cyber security expert. Wonderful. 10 years, I want to be an expert in my role, whatever role is assigned to me. I want to see myself as a responsible person, and I would like to see. Wonderful. Okay. Thank you, Ishita. So with this, others, if you've done it, great. If you have not, okay, settle abroad, working at a nice place, have a 200K package. Wow. Very nice. Sarthak Saini, very nice. Okay. I want to do BTech, and after 4 years, I want to join a well-reputed company. Ethical hacker. Friends, in your visualization, this is very good, right? Cyber security experts to being a research scientist to settle down abroad, reputed company, wherever I want to, wherever I go, whichever role I want to be responsible. Great. Nothing stops you from visualizing big. I'm not saying this is not big. This is great. I'm just giving you as a general suggestion. Nothing stops us. Having a 200K package, great, right? Settle abroad, be a scientist, ethical hacker, all that is great. So keep thinking on those lines. Think big. Should be bold and big. Nobody puts a gun to your head and say, don't dream big, right? As one of the psychologists said, the humankind is constrained by the poverty of imagination. Right? The power is in your aspiration, friends. I want to be the best in my field. Right? Absolutely, Lakshya. So somebody has a problem. Okay, why don't you call up Lakshya and ask the best in the field, right? So think big. While you are visualizing, while you have visualized these folks, also keep some role model in mind. I'm sure many of you have. right? There you go, Priyanka. I want to have my own tech company. Wonderful. Okay, very good. Become an app developer, right? So along with it, think of a role model. Why a role model is important? Especially when you are in doubt, when you are in a challenging crossroad. Role model is who will inspire you to come out of those challenges. Right? When we do leadership sessions, when people get into an ethical dilemma, right? Should we do this? Should we not do this? I always say, okay, pick up Mahatma Gandhi as a role model and say, would Mahatma Gandhi have decided this way or not? Right? So whoever you want, you can have more than one. I have three role models. Right? One is legendary basketball player Michael Jordan, and the other one is the cartoon character. Yeah, and the third one I'm going to leave it to your imagination. Yeah. So pick up the great elements from the role model that gives you inspiration, folks. Right? That's where it helps in terms of going through your visualization. When you are doing that, you all said this, right? I have a 200K job that I want. I want to start my tech company. I want to be research scientist, cybersecurity expert, whatnot. There is a gremlin that is sitting in all of us. There is a gremlin that sits in all of us, keeps saying, no, you can't do this. You can't do that. You know, like how you see in the movies, right? In the some of the movies, you would see a black figure sitting on the one side of the shoulder, a white sitting on the other side of the shoulder. The white telling the person, no, you can go ahead and do it. The black say, no, you can't do that. Keep quiet. It depends on which one you're listening to. So everybody has gremlin. It is just that many of the successful people have actually tamed that gremlin to listen to what they want it to do. Right? That gremlin is what you have a wonderful opportunity in the next few years to tame and bring it under control. Once you step out of the campus into a corporate environment, or better yet, entrepreneurship journey, as some of you have said, you don't have time for this. Neither do you have opportunity, right? If you don't, when the gremlin is in charge, why am I saying this is important, friends? When the gremlin in you is in charge, what does it do? It says, wait a minute, Anbu, success comes talent. Only if you have the talent, you'll be able to succeed. Go ask people who have not passed beyond 8th or 10th grade in the good old days and started great company and become a multi-million-dollar organization today. They did not listen to the gremlin that says, you don't have talent, so don't think about anything. They said if they went with them being in charge, saying that success comes from the effort I put in. Oh no, I can't understand mathematics. I'm going to put in effort. No, I'm not good at English. So you will not succeed. You are not talented in English. No, you're going to put in effort. I'm either smart or dumb, right? Smart though may sound good, it has a problem, right? Which we'll come to later. I can learn and grow my intelligence when you are in charge. Gremlin says, oh, Anbu, slow down. You don't like too many challenges. Yeah, sit cozy, comfortable. All is well. I will take challenges. You all have taken the challenge in 12th grade. You have moved out of that comfort zone, right? Into another vulnerable zone, as we will see, right? It helps you to grow. The moment I fail, failure means I can't do it. That's it. I failed and I'm going to be stopping this from now on. No. Failure means I'm learning. Right? When the bulb was invented, the inventor did not say that, oh my God, I failed 10,000 times. He said, I found 10,000 different ways to actually find an answer. Right? And this is a very, very important one, right? Your faculty gives you a feedback. Anbu, you know what? Your work is not good. I've been noticing that you're turning in your assignments not to good standard at all. You take it as a personal attack. That's a gremlin in you, not you. The gremlin in you says, oh no, Anbu, listen, the faculty is targeting you. It's against you. No. Feedback from anybody, let's say professor in this case, is helping me grow. Okay, the assignment that I have turned in is not good standards. Let me see what I can do better. Ask few clarifications, why not? And I'm sure they'll be glad to mentor and help you. Why that is important? Tomorrow, imagine 10 years down the road, you want to be a research scientist. Shouldn't your report be the best in the world, best class, for it to be recognized and published and whatnot, right? So feedback is something for you to grow. If somebody succeeds, I feel threatened. Believe me, this is a syndrome that we see beyond campus to everywhere. If you succeed, I'm inspired. Let me see. Oh, okay, Rajesh succeeded. So let me see what he did. He succeeded. So I'm going to try the same thing. If it's something hard to do, I give up. Yeah, it's way too hard. Yeah, not my cup of tea. I'm just going to lie low, take it easy. I keep trying even when I'm frustrated. I know it's not working. It's frustrated, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. You go back and Google about some of the entrepreneurs who are so frustrated, including Steve Jobs. iPad was ready before iPhone, but he couldn't. He was so frustrated because the touch screen was way too expensive and there were heated arguments in the room. He didn't give up. He said, I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep pushing. We will come up with the design. We will come up with the design. And today we know it's everything is changed. They made history, right? So please be aware of the gremlin in you that controls you, friends, right? Instead, take charge. One step at a time. It is just that keep asking those questions, one step at a time. That's all we are saying, right? So I wanted to introduce to you the 13 musical notes, right? This is part of our design thinking approach, design the thinking actually, where how do I therefore, if there is gremlin, okay, I have put up 6, 7 elements on the left and to the right. Is it that simple? Then the whole world would have just followed it in no time at all, right? What in me that is stopping me from saying that success comes from hard work, not just from talent? How do I make that switch in my head? What will be the trigger, or better yet, what is holding me back from not doing it, right? That is where we have these 13 musical notes. So I'm going to give you one after another, right? First, we call it 5 drivers of design. If you want to design anything, including your learning journey, right? Including your learning journey, friends, you will have to go through some of these elements in your head, right? First is a skill. Skill is what? It's applying a set pattern of knowledge, right? Knowledge packets, as we call it. Something that you keep doing repeatedly again and again and again and again, right? So you go to a restaurant, a roti master or a dosa master. He can keep flipping dosas like nobody's business. You want 10 dosas in 10 minutes, coming right up, right? Or you go to a mechanic store, right? This person can fix your engine problems in no time because he's skilled at that. She's good at that. She has done it again and again and again and again, right? That is skill for you. Skill is something that is mostly driven for output, right? Like I said, 10 dosas in 10 minutes or 5 bikes fixed in 2 hours, output driven. But where do you want to graduate beyond skills, folks? Skill is, let's say you have Java skill. That is not going to be enough. I need to develop that expertise, which means I'm going to add more knowledge to that skill that I have. I learned Python. Great. I can write like anybody else Python. Yes, there are millions students around the world, millions and millions of them who can write Python like you do. But the expertise lies in what value add am I bringing in by applying Python, right? That's where the expertise is. So I said skill is output. Expertise is how do I drive an intended outcome? That's where expertise lies. Yeah. So I'll tell you an example outside of engineering, right? Go into medicines. Let's say one of the elders, your grandfather or grandmother or uncle has a bit of a cardiac test that needs to be done. Some challenge, right? People don't mind driving across the congested traffic in the evening across Delhi to go to the other side of Delhi, drive for 2 hours to see a cardiologist specialist. Oh, go to, Dr. Pankaj. He's the best. He's an expert. He knows how to diagnose what is exactly wrong with you. That is beyond skills to expertise. So anything that you embark on, let's say you pick up a subject that you are so interested in, you should quickly move from understanding the subject to becoming an expert in that. One of you posted saying that I want to be expert in the field that I choose to, right? That's where we are. Yeah. And beyond, so if you imagine expertise as something that you keep going down, drilling down 30,000 feet, perspective is going up 30,000 feet. Can I go 30,000 feet above and have a perspective of everything? I have joined in engineering. I have joined, computer science. I have a subject in physics in the first semester, right? I have English in the first semester. What's going on? So can I have a perspective? Can I go up and say, okay, where is this English going to help me? Okay, this is going to be business English that will help me when I am churning out all those reports that I want to become a research scientist, right? Or in civil engineering or in mechanical engineering, there is a civil engineering subject. I went through 2 semesters of strength of materials in mechanical engineering. I mean, by the way, I was not great at it. So my wife is a civil engineer. She is an expert in it. I am not. But I never had this mindset of why that was important for me. Today, I can connect, friends. Unfortunately, I didn't have that mindset at that time. Why am I studying a civil engineering subject when what all I need is to know about mechanical engineering? Today, many of the mechanical engineering problems are solved because, right, the machine mounting is a problem. That is more of a structural and a civil engineering subject, right? So that's where the perspective comes. Yeah. And why the perspective is important? You will be able to come up with better ideas. Only when you go above and see the entire forest and not just the tree, you will be able to come up with better ideas. I'll give you a quick example. There was 2-3 decades ago, right? Mail catalog as a business existed in the US. And at the same time, e-commerce portal was there where people can pay and buy and things like that. What all this one gentleman did was to put these two together in the name of Amazon. Jeff Bezos just connected these two because he was able to go above and take a perspective. Wait a minute, people love shopping, but they are doing it today with the mail order catalog, and there is an e-commerce portal that's available. Why can't I just connect these two? That's all he did. What all he did was connect these two pieces. We are all set, right? So when you understand some of these subjects, when you go above and look at your entire 4-year curriculum, you'll be able to connect some pieces and say, oh, wait a minute. Now I know why I'm learning what I'm learning. Right? And that is very important for your learning journey. Otherwise, what happens is, okay, yeah, I'm computer science, so I'm not going to be worried much about this thing. I'm just going to study, pass, and go. Then, like I have realized many years later after I graduated, those subjects are important as well, right? In making you a better expert at. Yeah. And finally, alignment. This alignment goes back to all these things that you are doing, friends. aligns to what you have visualized and written, right? You are visualizing wherever you want to reach in the 5 years, 10 years, right? So it aligns to that. It has to align to that. You want to become a research scientist. You can't become one right after you graduate. You have to start today to see what are all the things that you wanted to focus on. What is first step to do? What comes under being a research scientist? What does that role mean in different areas? Then I will start working on it. So you align all of your effort and energy that you do from today till you graduate towards where you are aiming, visualizing, and dreaming to reach, friends. That is why this 5, we call that SAPIA: skills, expertise, perspective, idea, and alignment is important, right? And it comes purely out of practice. Purely out of practice. I'm a big fan of Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is known to say that I'm not worried about somebody who knows 10,000 things, 10,000 moves. I'm worried about the person who knows one move and practiced it 10,000 times. That's a challenge, right? And that's where we wanted to reach. And okay, so this is not a huge rocket science, right? So you'll be wondering, so what is Anbu saying now, right? We know, okay, I need to be an expert. We know I have to come up with an idea. Great. But what stops you from doing that? We call this the emotional quotient. We call this the emotional quotient, right? The first part of the emotional quotient. Doubt in my mind. There are so many doubts in my mind. Should I even be doing this? Will I be good as an engineer? Will I even be able to? I hope none of you have it, but this is something some students have shared with us. I don't know, I've joined, but I'm so scared. Will I even be able to complete it? Right? Or I come up with an idea. I'm not going to articulate it. I'm just going to keep checking with somebody. Do you think this is a good idea? I feel it may be a stupid idea. Should I just say this or keep quiet? Right? So it's always right. You are looking at someone else to tell you, okay, Anbu, hey, what you're saying is right. Go ahead, go ahead. You're looking constantly for some other approval mechanism. Somebody, a friend to say, go ahead, a family member to say, go ahead, a professor to say, go ahead, rather than you making the decision. As much as it may sound as a very simple, trivial thing, friends, as you move along, it will become your habit. And when you move out, and some of you said you want to work in corporate, your decision making will be clouded by this doubt in your mind. Am I making the right decision? Today, we are grappling with some leaders who delay decisions because they want more clarity. They want someone to say, you're all set, go ahead. Right? And it's costing corporates plenty. And research scientists. Interestingly, I was watching a movie yesterday where the last minute, a mathematician was brought in to recalculate the entry angle for space shuttle to come back. And I'll tell you what that movie is later, right? And they come and this person comes and says, yes, it is 11.684432. They say, okay, 11.684432, good to go. They just ask this person one last time, are you sure your calculation thorough? Yes, I am sure. This person never said, no, let me think about it. Let me go back. I'll ask a couple of people. No, that's what we are talking about, doubt. And the next element, friends, is conflict. Conflict in my head, conflict with someone else. And we always say conflict is about difference of opinion. You have a different opinion about something, difference of perspective, difference of expectation. Right? Interestingly, in one of the groups, there was a big debate going on. Some of you would have seen that. I think in one of the recent matches, there is a catch taken near the boundary line. Two players run to get the catch the ball, right? The player catches, and the other player who came running to catch, he saw his counterpart or his team member taking the catch. He wants to stop slow. He slides. When he slides, he touches the player and the boundary line, right? As per the cricket rule, that's a sixer, not out. There was a huge debate, and I'm one of the admins of the group, and I had to moderate it because people, differences of opinion went into a conflict. To an extent, people were calling this is stupid and things like that, right? So conflict, how do we identify and start dialoguing? Dialoguing is one of the key things about design thinking approaches. If you are in a challenging situation, how do you dialogue? Dialogue is about finding out what is right, not who is right. Who is right is about debate. And that we all know. We can argue and debate forever, right? The third one is anger. Anger comes out of helplessness. You expected something, didn't happen, you're angry. And today, so many people agree about so many things that has happened in the last 18 months, unfortunately, right? Anger comes out of helplessness. So how do you acknowledge that, yes, there are things that are outside of our control, right? And therefore, I will accept and acknowledge. I don't want to sound philosophical here, right? So therefore, I'll accept and acknowledge and move on. Otherwise, what happens is anger clouds your action, friends. If you don't believe me, the next time when you read something happened because of a road rage, you will understand what happened. Two people would have never met each other in their lifetime before, and never, probably in all probability, not meet ever in their lifetime again, but they fight just because one person cut off the other person. Anger. And a classic one, fear, right? The fear of failure, fear of ridiculed by somebody. Oh, look at Anbu, how stupid, what did he do? That is so stupid, right? Fear of, oh my God, I don't know, if I take this up, I'm going to fail, so I won't, I'll keep quiet, right? I don't want to try it. What if I fail? You may have never failed at all. But this is where the gremlin comes in. Remember, that's why I started with the gremlin. The gremlin comes in to say, oh, Anbu, don't do it. What if you fail? Somebody will make fun of you. Anbu said so many things, he's failed miserably, right? Therefore, what happens, folks, is that if you fear of going wrong, you won't try things. Imagine your dream is to become a research scientist, but you're worrying, oh my God, what if I go wrong? So I'm going to play it safe. You just have to have the fear. Rest your subconscious will play to the game and stop you from trying out different things. Then slowly, unfortunately, you will graduate from fear of going wrong to fear of failure to fear of commitment. If I have the fear of failing, I won't commit. Where will it lead? Someone tells you, you know what, I'm going to do this. I have this great idea for a final year project, but it's going to be very complicated. I would love it. Can you be part of my group? You'll be like, oh my God, what if I fail? Somebody will make fun and something will go wrong. No, I don't want to. I'm just going to do a simple project with someone else and then move on. And it will unfortunately again slowly graduate to fear of the unknown. You will hear people saying that, oh, I don't know, I have this fear, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what stops me, right? I have this fear. So be conscious of this fear. And I'll come to this part a little later, right? Ego, and what we say in design thinking parlance, friends, is ego as in I know it all. Just because you have scored 100 out of 100 in mathematics doesn't mean you know everything. Just because you had scored, and hats off to, congratulations to many of you who might have scored centum in mathematics and other subjects. But that doesn't make the person who scored 1% lower than you not better than you in terms of what they know, right? So when I joined, okay, there was a conversation between parents of two of my classmates, right? When I joined in Anna University College of Engineering, India at that time, right? So one of them said, "Oh, my son scored centum in mathematics, sir. So he got admission here." The other father kept quiet, smiling, and then said, "Yeah, my son scored centum in all three." Right? So that's what we are talking about in terms of, am I boasting my expertise as an ego, because it could cloud you from seeing what else can happen. If you think you are an expert in calculus today, you may not see what else is possible using that same calculus tomorrow, right? So that is decaf for you. We call it as frictional forces stopping you from growing. Yeah. Then next, the last three elements, folks, is first is vulnerability, right? How do I move out of my comfort zone? Okay, until 12th grade, I was very comfortable. Okay, great. To college, what can I try new? Can I move myself out of comfort zone? If those of you who had come out of town and staying here, you are already moved out of your comfort zone. You have been pushed out of your comfort zone. Great. Great learning happens when you are vulnerable. Moving out of the comfort zone is when people start looking at nobody has done it. That's fine. Can I try it? Moving out of comfort zone will get you to a situation where I want to be the first one to do. There are so many people who have said that and succeeded as well. I want to be the first one. I want to be the first one. I want to be the first one. Right? Narayana Murthy said that. Obama said that I want to be the first black president. Right? Several people, I'm sure you have your own personal examples between siblings and parents and grandparents and uncles and whatnot, right? I want to be the first one. That comes out of consciously moving to vulnerable. Appreciate what you have, appreciate things around you, appreciate those little things in life. That gives you energy. Don't think, oh, what to do, everything is going wrong for me. No, many things went right, so you landed up in a great institution when compared to so many kids who still don't have admissions. And finally, limiting beliefs, very, very, very important. Limiting beliefs is the label that you attach to yourself. Oh, I am coming from this area, I can't be speaking in English. Oh, I come from that background, so I cannot be a speaker. I cannot stand up in the classroom and ask a question. Or the label given to somebody else. You're not good at mathematics. Well, why do you even try this? If you believe in it, it will limit you. If you don't believe in it, it just opens up a huge canvas of opportunity for you, friends. It is how you condition it in your mind, right? If you believe it, you're done. A quick example, if you look at a temple in South India, elephant, when the elephant is born, the first thing that the master does is tie the elephant to a pole. And it is just born, right? With a thick rope. So the elephant grows with that conditioning in mind. When there is something tied to my leg, I cannot move. If you closely observe, unfortunately, such a huge animal, great gigantic animal, can turn a truck and a running car and whatnot and uproot a tree, cannot snap out of a little rope. In some temples, you will see the rope will be only in the leg, not even tied to the pillar. It's conditioning. Society conditions you saying, don't do this, you shouldn't do that, you're not capable of doing it. But here is an opportunity for you to come out of any of those limiting beliefs that you may, if at all, have, friends. For that, you need to move out of the comfort zone, right? So I'm going to ask you, we'll just take another minute. I'm going to ask you to put it up in chat. What is your one biggest fear or limiting belief? If you have any, put it up in your chat box. Right? You have as your fear or limiting beliefs, right? That I cannot do this, whatever. Just type it up in the chat. Remember, this is also an opportunity to move out of the comfort zone and show your vulnerability. Beautiful. Fear of failure, societal pressure. Okay. Trying things which is beyond my comfort zone. Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm sure there are plenty of things that one could say. Thank you guys for sharing. Friends, remember, if you have fear of expressing, I'm sure, right? Some of you may have this fear of the stage fear, as they call, right? Assume this as a stage. This is the best time. You are virtual. Nobody is seeing you. Use not just in my session today, every other session, just leverage this chat box to express yourself. Believe me, you'll feel good. Believe me, you'll feel good. Because coming out of fear, coming out of this comfort zone is only in your hand. Nobody can push you out of it. You will have to take that one baby step because the reward is sweet. Believe me, 100% coming out of comfort zone, the reward is always sweet. I came out of the comfort zone, right? There we go. Fear of public speaking. Tushar, thank you. Right? And Hemang, you're saying failed in competitive exams. Fine. Right? So public speaking. Take any of the great public speakers. I follow a lot of these great public speakers to see what they do, what their life has been. There is a book called Talk Like Obama. Some of the best speakers from Bill Clinton to Obama to including our own favorite APJ Abdul Kalam. All of them had butterflies in their stomach before great speech. Bill Clinton has acknowledged that before every State of the Union address to the entire lawmakers in the US, he will have butterflies in his stomach. He will be seen to go quiet in his chamber. Nobody should disturb. Because they know once they finish the speech, the reward is sweet, friends. So the idea of getting out of any of this fear is confront it. First, acknowledge. So I'm happy. The reason I asked you to put it up here is first, I need to acknowledge I have public fear of speaking, right? Fear of speaking correctly in English regularly, right? Great. Fear of being judged. Okay. First, acknowledge. Great. Which means you have looked at that gremlin called fear straight on its face. Okay. I know you are constraining me. If I let you grow, my friend, gonna tie a huge chain and put me in shackles forever in the rest of my life. So the next opportunity, whoever has this fear of the fear of speaking correctly in English, right, or public speaking, the next opportunity you get, the next session where you are able to ask a question by speaking it out instead of chat box, grab it. Grab it, you're all set. The way to come out of fear is just grab that fear, folks. Work on that fear. Acknowledge the fear and do the very thing that you fear. The day I had to make a presentation, I did a project for US Navy, right? I had to make a presentation. I modified the AutoCAD menu those days, 25, 30 years using AutoLisp language. Playing around, I modified it. So my prof advisor looked at it and said, okay, this looks good. So they took us to this Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, right, in Dayton, Ohio. And we all have to, go through several security clearance before we went into this huge boardroom type teak wood, whatnot, And I know my turn is coming at the end of the 2.5 hour presentation. My colleagues and the other students, PhD students were presenting. I'll be very honest. I probably would have wanted to use the restroom like 6-7 times, and I was praying to every possible faith I had that my session should be cancelled. Fortunately for me, it wasn't, and even when I could feel that sweat in my hands 30 years ago. And my turn came, and my professor, Dr. J. Gunashekara, he said, okay, Anbu has something to show you guys. I was literally dry mouth, and I said, wait a minute. It has come this far. I can't run away. Worst case, they're going to say, this is a stupid idea. They're not going to kill me. I'm not going to lose my PhD enrollment. I'm not going to lose my great assistantship. My professor is not going to kill me. Worst case, they will say, oh, this is not good. Or even worse, they'll say, how stupid. You wasted my time. Fair enough. At least I did it for my fun. I showed it. The next 2 minutes, I got this huge pat from one of those tall guys, right? Jim Griffith. He said, oh, this is what we were looking for. Jay, where was this kid till now? Till now, friends, that movie comes back into my mind again and again and again. If I had succumbed to the fear and ran away from there, I can guarantee you I wouldn't be where I am today. I can guarantee you. So that's a way to fight that fear. Just work on it. Public speaking. Try speaking in front of your friends. Why not? Fear of failure. Okay. So what? You fail. Then what happens next? As the whole world came down, there are so many people who fail in life and they have moved on. Fear of being judged, Raj. This goes back to that doubt. You want someone else to approve who you are. You want someone else to say, Anbu is a great guy. All this acknowledgement, I said Bruce Lee, right? It all starts with that inner strength. Yeah. All right. So there are other things. How do I keep my business till end? One quick answer to you, Dinesh. Your visualized state. You want to, let's say you want to become a professor in a top tier university. That will guide you. Being seriousness will become part of your life. Don't worry about it. You anchor to what you visualized, right? You anchor to what you visualized and things will start moving in, folks, right? So that is the power of belief. Past experiences, you would have blanked out looking at an exam paper. I have. Oh my God. 6 out of 10 questions I never studied. Oh boy. Okay. Or tongue-tied when a teacher actually got very upset in your 10th grade and shouted at you. You're like stuck. You can't even open your mouth. Or you won a slogan contest. Your past experiences, therefore you interpret when there is stress, I seem to break down. Why? Or, okay, I handle creative task very well. Or you give me challenging situation, I seem to be doing well. Your positives. Therefore, you draw up a belief about yourself, friends. You draw up an image for yourself. Till 12th standard, the resume for you was done by your siblings or family or parents. From now, creating your resume of life is in your hands, in your style, in your own base. You don't have to wait for anybody else to tell you. They don't create it, you create it from now on. For that, you have to shift your belief, right? So this is something that I saw in this Prince Diaries movie. Nice movie. Courage is not absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. I got to reach my visualized state, so I cannot fear of not being serious. My favorite one, the brave may not live forever, but the cautious do not live at all. So if you want to be very cautious, you will stay in the comfort zone, right? Okay, so this is my, I talked to you about Bruce Lee, one of my favorite personalities. Only later I realized that he is more of spiritual and a philosophical person than a martial artist, right? He has this famous thing that actually turned around his life. He was thrown out of the class by his guru, master, for losing his temper. He went on a boat in the lake just to relax, and then he punched in the water, right? Imagine punching the water. And then he realized, wait a minute, the water, just whatever I do, it just adapts to that shape. I punch with both my hands, it adapts to that shape. I poke my hand like this, it adapts to that shape. It doesn't get broken down by the situation or the pressure. And that is where, friends, right, you find opportunity to grow, right? I wanted to introduce quickly a few of the concepts of design thinking. First is the importance of listening. listening to everything around you, just listening with a filter of what you want to listen. Sometimes people will listen to some things and then you say, oh, did you listen to that? Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't hear that. Was that mentioned? Because there is a cognitive filter that's on you. So just be conscious of that. Then dialoguing to understand what is right or what is in front of you and not who is saying it, right? Just because Anbu says it should be stupid, let's not listen to it. And observe things around you. Observe, right? Always observe things around you. Empathetically, observe everything around you. What is happening in the campus? Maybe you'll be able to understand something and be part of something. And question assumptions, folks. Always question assumptions, not just questioning assumptions. You have fear, gather courage, ask your professor questions in the class. They always say Aristotle is known for questions, only questions, not answers. Some of his questions were stupid, but it made people think. Here is a classic example. I'll just take the third one for paucity of time. The assumption is always to come to the hospital. There is a doctor, Govindappa Venkataswamy in South India, Arvind Eye Care. He said, why can't I take my eye hospital to the village? Why should the patients come to the hospital? Can the hospital go to the patient? And everybody said, huh, what? He's out of his mind. Of course, he started the hospital after he retired. They said, he must be mad. He's grown old and senile. That disrupted the entire thing. He was able to eradicate curable blindness, to a large extent, right? So question all those assumptions, right? All those assumptions that will push you from comfort zone to vulnerability. Keep asking this question, why? Right? Or like they say in 1997, Apple ran a competition, right? Or a campaign about thinking differently. And they credit their journey to that campaign. They got the likes of Muhammad Ali, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, and others. They all were thinking differently. That is why they did what they did. So they capped it as saying, just don't order from the regular menu. Right? Question assumptions, therefore you'll be able to do your own things, right? So design thinking is, just to give you a quick rundown of design thinking, is human-centered, future-focused. So which is where our journey with NorthCap University that started a few years ago, with many of the faculties immersed and got certified in design thinking, is they want to be future-focused. And we heard from Professor Milland how they were investing on your future by creating value to all of you. That's why you will be able to see the results at the end of your degree, that you stand out, because they are centered around you with the future in mind and creating value for you, right? How does that happen? Quick differentiator. When you look at a problem, folks, never look at it as what is the right answer. Stay with the problem. Keep asking this question. What is the right question? What is the right question? Right? What is the next right question? As the late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi said, the power of question is a basis for all of the human progress. She said all of human progress started with the power of questioning. There's another leader that also said, all disruptions in the world has happened because somebody was not satisfied with the status quo, right? They asked that question. So design thinking is about listening. I told you, more of listening, and understanding the stories around. When you're doing a project, let's say you do a social impact project, don't go with the data. If you want to eradicate, it's okay, 60% of the people are below poverty, so they don't have food. Go with the story. What happens? They may tell you, you know what, we receive food that is worth 5 days in a single day. I can't store it. It goes waste. So I go hungry for next 4 days, right? That's a story. And finally, my favorite one, don't just stick to the facts. Go with the feeling. Go with the feeling, right? So fact is about thinking. So Bruce Lee, when he taught his students, he will punch them. Never ask them, what do you think? He said, what do you feel? Because what do you feel is what is going to take you to learn better and move, right? Okay. So 6 pillars of your learning journey, just to sum it up, folks, 6 pillars of your learning journey. Identify your positives. There is positive in everybody. And believe me or not, there are negatives in everybody. Some may be more, some may be less. You name one person in the world, and we can always come up with at least one negative. I'm talking about past historical figures as well to existing ones also, right? It'll be an interesting conversation, but they always leverage on their positives. They never let their negatives bog them down. I can't speak English. Okay. So there are so many leaders who are not good in English, but they go around speaking around the world. Since one of you said about this English or public speaking in English, right? I may go wrong grammatically. I met a person named Girish in Sirsi, Karnataka, right? West South. When we are going on a vacation, he took us, we stayed in a little village, right? With an NGO group. The villagers cooked and gave and all that, right? So I observed his English to be very commendable. I said, Girish, you got a great English. He said, oh yeah, my 8th standard teacher, till 8th standard, I couldn't speak any English, sir. My teacher changed and she said, so what? You can't speak English? That's fine. Speak to me in your language. And then I slowly converted it into English one day at a time. And today he is a much sought after tour guide for people who come from UK. He understood his positives was he had ideas he loves to express. That's his positive. English was just one avenue, right? Identify your positives, folks. Believe me, when you rattle it out in a sheet, you're going to love it. Your positives. I mentioned this earlier. Overcome fear first by acknowledging. Something may have happened in the past that you failed, but please don't bring that movie reel back and keep playing it again and again and again. When it comes back, you said, oh, okay, listen, that was in the past. I was 10 years old. That was stupid. I made a mistake. Today, I'm not 10 years old. I'm much older than that. I'm 18, I'm 19. I know how to handle it. I'm moving forward, right? Always remember, there is something sweet at the end of overcoming that fear. You will feel liberated. Remove those limiting beliefs that I can do only so much. Right? What you feed into your head as I can do only this much will stop you from growing further. It'll keep limiting you, limiting you, limiting you. You're not good at speaking? Go ahead, try it in front of the mirror. In my good old days, 15 years ago, I used to practice in front of the mirror. I used to practice the first 3 minutes. I can rattle out in the middle of the street. Then it puts me in a comfort zone. Then rest of my things will come. Right? So there is always an answer to any of those things. Right? The next one, speak confidently. Anything you pick up, folks, speak confidently. How will you practice that? Pick an area of interest. I'm sure today, half of you, if you put you on a hall for a debate on what happened in IPL yesterday, I'm sure you will break it into pieces, ball by ball analysis and express your views. You wouldn't even care if somebody is watching you. So therefore, why not pick the topic of your interest? Form a friends among yourself, right? A group rather among your friends. Do this. Right? Speaking confidently is about coming up with your own ideas first and rehearse it. I have heard in one occasion, I was reading about the book on APJ Abdul Kalam. For one session, he had prepared all the notes and his assistant went to sleep thinking that he's going to sleep. He got up at 5 and he said, he asked Dr. Kalam, sir, you're up early. He said, no, I haven't gone to sleep yet. He was preparing till 5:30 in the morning. He said, oh no, I was not 100% confident. So you put in an effort, you become more confident. You want to talk about something, do your research, right? Rehearse it, rehearse it, rehearse it. Ask questions. Never stop fear from asking questions. In case, what will they say? Oh, come on, you should have known this. So what? The whole world is not going to come crumbling down for you because somebody said, oh, you should have known this. On the flip side, if they say, oh, Dinesh, that's a brilliant question. I don't know the answer. Or, oh boy, I didn't think of that at all. That is such a brilliant question. Everywhere, world over, disruptions and great ideas have come up because somebody like you has asked a question. It is never someone sitting higher up always asking the question. Somebody like you who had asked that question, why this, why not that? Right? Somebody asked that question, why should I be charged for late fee for my CDs and cassettes? Why can't I watch a movie on my own leisure and time at my own pace? There came Netflix and all the video rental, DVD rentals died overnight because somebody asked a different question. So ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. That's one way for you to come out of fear. And finally, we talked about confidence, right? We talked about self-confidence. That leads to building your self-image, your brand as a whole, friends. Like I told you, it is in your hands to write your own resume. Nobody else should influence. People can influence, people will influence. But it is in your hands today for no one to influence you, right? Work on that thing. Self-confidence leads to building up your self-esteem. I can do anything if I want to. That builds your self-esteem. And that builds your self-image. And that image is what the rest of the world will see. If you don't create your personal brand in the first 6 months to 1 year in the campus, somebody else will create it for you. You will live with it. Yeah. So next steps, I just wanted to give you this, the power of mind. There is imaginative mind. Keep visualizing where you want to reach. Don't. Then the learning mind. Keep asking questions. Keep learning new things. Promise yourself that you'll learn something new in the next 4 years that you are in campus. Operations mind. Planning. How do I prioritize things? And how do I reduce some of my social media time? I know it's a controversial thing to say, but why not? The effective mind. How do I speak confidently? How do I plan things? And the influencing mind, right? Asking questions. Yeah. So these are things that are existing in your head, friends. All of us are gifted with this. How we leverage it is in your hands, right? And I'm going to give you some suggestions when you are designing your learning journey. I know if you are looking for, okay, is he going to give me a recipe of first semester, you do the second semester? No, I don't want to do that. I like I said, I am a big fan of Bruce Lee. There is a book called Be Water written by his daughter. He talks about never give a very prescriptive 10 to-do list to anybody because I may constrain your creative mind. You may pick up one thing and build on it and become much better than what I know, what I told you. So why should I give you a prescriptive thing? So I'm planting all these thoughts consciously, not prescribing, saying that for the next 3 weeks, do this, 4th week onwards, do that, right? At least I don't prescribe to that. So I'm not doing it, right? First is celebrate yourself. You have come this far, folks. You are hard worker. You were serious. One of you said, what if I lose my seriousness? You didn't lose your seriousness for all these 12 grades. Where you are. It is in you not to lose it. Focus. One of you asked about how should I stay focused? Keep the interest level high. Right? How do you get out of boredom? I find interest in something. It doesn't have to be necessarily your subject immediately. Right? Sharpen your mind by doing something. First, start with celebrating yourself. You know things, you have done great things. That's why you are where you are, right? Appreciate someone. Rare commodity sometimes, unfortunately. I'm not saying just appreciate your friends alone. Why not appreciate your professors? Who says that they don't need appreciation? You know the type of things that they do. I'm on both sides, what I can say, both on the side where we teach and both on the sides where I also learn. Phenomenal work. It's a noble profession. Appreciate someone whom you don't know for what they have done. When campus, next time you see somebody, the security guard taking care of something, very critical, appreciate them. Human beings need appreciation. Appreciation is not about money. Appreciation is not about writing a note alone. Appreciation is about genuine, specific, and more importantly, time bound, timely. You see something today, you appreciate that person and don't wait till 10 days later to say, right? I'm just going to leave this there. I'm not going to say anything about it. I know it's a very tricky, confident things, but folks, it takes away a lot of time. Start new hobbies. Can you promise yourself, I will learn a new sport, a new instrument, or a new thing? Right? It could be anything. I'll pick up singing. There is a singing club. I'm going to join the singing club and learn. Or a sports. I learn something new. Organize an event. Get together and organize an event or be part of some group that organizes event. That way you will come up with your own questions. Am I serious? So for 6 months, I was very serious about organizing this event. Do I have fear of failure? No, I came through perfectly fine. Do I have public speaking? No, I picked up the mic and asked 20 people to calm down and keep quiet, right? These are the ways to get out of some of those fears and limiting belief you have. And another beautiful way to learn is to teach someone. I'm sure many of you know this. Teach someone. Visit a village or a slum. I know a lot of things are happening in NCU as part of the curriculum and other plans. Visit a village. Believe me, you learn a lot. You will learn a lot more from them. Every time I visit a village, I get floored by their humility. And request, I know I'm putting pressure on the faculties here, but request a faculty to be your mentor. Genuinely, not just to impress. Remember, that goes back to the D of the decaf, doubt. I want my faculty to be impressed with me, so I'm going to do everything. Do the things. The faculty will appreciate you for what it is. Request a faculty to be a mentor, preferably if it is possible at all, depending on the framework and structure, a faculty outside of your department to be your mentor. And here it is, folks. Some books that I would suggest. Some of you may know already, Stephen Covey's 7 Habits, beautiful book. Or The Goal by Goldratt. Your Erroneous Zone, which talks about the thinking, right? Where people don't take a stand. You have an idea, you are convinced with an idea, and you know it is right. You say it, people say, no, we don't agree. Then you immediately don't keep quiet. You say, oh, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Dr. Dyer talks about that as well. That's a doubt in your mind that makes you to apologize for what is not wrong. The whole new mind talks about how you shift from analytical to creative mind. Of course, when you go on to your college degree, you tend to be analytical. And of course, the last one is more of a corporate, very interesting thing. Always think about why is something being done. Then come to what and how. Why am I studying calculus in a civil engineering degree? Or why am I studying physics in an artificial intelligence program? You will get an answer. And there is plenty today in terms of digital. Podcasts are there, blogs. Like I said, pick up an hobby, folks. You can write your own blogs. Start, register with some of the blog sites. Write your own blog. And we talked about your self-image and your own brand. For those of you who have LinkedIn, great. Otherwise, go ahead and open up a LinkedIn account today, not the month before your recruitment happens, because everybody knows when you have opened your LinkedIn account. Or in other words, how long have you been member of LinkedIn? That shows your seriousness. You get to connect with like-minded people. You get to learn from those people. Be in LinkedIn, read blogs, write blogs. That expands your thinking. And finally, important, digital is there. I'm not denying that. Sometimes it really cognitively helps to put the pen or pencil to the paper, friends. Have a notebook. Write down your journal. You can pick up some of the elements of decaf. We talked about fear, vulnerability, and limiting belief. Today, let's say in this session, if you had a question in mind, you didn't ask me because you feared somebody will say it is stupid, wrong. You have a ridiculous question. Start writing in your journal. Today, I had a session with Anbu. I had this question. I did not ask because I feared somebody will actually judge me, saying that I'm wrong. Write it down. I'm not saying ask for answers, nothing. It is just your journal. Keep writing, keep writing, keep writing. In 30 days, you will see a pattern. And believe me, you will find an answer yourself. That's how it works. That's a magic. You will find an answer to come out of that pattern. Right? Journal anything, just not about decaf. Anything. Journal, make journal your friend. Annie Frank, 13-year-old kid who was Holocaust, she unfortunately succumbed to Holocaust atrocities. She was locked up in an attic for 2 years for some family trying to save that family, right? And she was given this diary. She went on to write. Pen and paper, wow, the most best friend mankind can ever have, right? Because friend will not judge you. It will just absorb everything that you write. So please do develop the habit of journaling, right? It's got nothing to do with good English. It's got nothing to do with English at all, for that matter. You're comfortable in your own mother tongue, go ahead and write it. It is your journal. You're not going to show it to anybody. But write you must, friends. Yeah. So there are so many things. 4 years is a lot of time. And believe me, 4 years will go just like that also. So be wise. Pick things that you want to do. Pick things that you want to do. And follow through that, friends. There is no other magic recipe here. That's all there is to it in life, right? Because come many years, one of my favorites, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did, right? And one of you posted as what's your favorite quote, and there it is. This is one of them. And Mark Twain has also say, there are many things that I feared in life, and most of them never came true at all. Unfortunately, in his case, he goes on to say that, he got this revelation a little late in life, right? Okay. All right, great. What was the movie I was referring to? That movie is Hidden Figures. I think it was in Disney Hotstar or Netflix, I'm not sure. Right? Hidden Figures, about 3 ladies. In this case, it's African American. And it's based on how they moved on to be the first. How they moved on to be the first. It's a beautiful thing, how they got to be the first. I'm talking about the 1960s, folks, not now. Where they used to have colored people bathroom, regular people bathroom, right? Things like that. So that's what it is. All right. So I wanted to stop with this quote. Yeah. You can ping me in LinkedIn, connect with me, write to me if anything that you folks. Right. If there are 1 or 2 questions, I'm sure we can, kind of overshot that time a little bit. So we can answer, or we still have 2-3 minutes.
There is one question from student about the rocket scientist movie.
Yeah, that is the one called Hidden Figures.
Hidden
That's
Figures.
the movie name. Yes, yes,
Okay.
Professor Millen. Yeah.
All right. So students, any questions? We still have a couple of minutes. Okay, Shaurya, that movie name has been written. Okay, we'll tell you. Hidden Figures is the name of the movie.
Correct. I can put it up in the chat as well. So once.
Right. While you do that, Doctor, I just have one question from my side. I'm curious.
Yes, bro.
How did you pick design thinking as an area? What did you see that made you motivated to go for that?
Okay, interesting question. So our trigger, so this came from, so our organization does product for the banks, right? So we were also observing, in spite of putting in so much of effort in innovation and other things, there is always something that gets, and the customers still are not happy at the end, right? Not only software, you take any products, automobile to phone to whatnot. That made us take a step back and say, what are we missing? Customers tell us what they want and we deliver it, and they are still unhappy. So customers have certain things in mind and they don't say it, right? Therefore, how do we then observe what the customers want? Therefore, how do I empathize with the customer? That's how our journey started, Professor Millen. So then management gurus always say, focus on the customer. Customer is the guru. Then we move to design thinking, saying that how do I become that customer? I see things in the customer's eyes. For getting into the shoes of the customer, we have to teach people, first you have to get out of your shoe as Chief Design Officer of Intellect Design Arena. You become that customer. And from then on, it's a beautiful journey. And my passionate area is life design. So I have taken some of those elements into that as well, right? How can therefore one design their learning journey, their life journey, whatnot. Yeah, that is why we selected our path into design thinking.
Wonderful. We have finished our time. I think students have the next sessions planned.
Correct. There is one question, if I can take that.
Yes, certainly.
There is one in the chat by Shaurya.
Yes, of course.
Right.
Sure.
So it says, what hardship do we have to deal in design thinking? A very simple answer. I know the question demands a 2-year conversation, but a simple answer: don't jump into solution. You see a problem, stay with the problem. Right? We see a problem. Our tendency is, what is the solution? We see a problem in design thinking, fall in love with the problem, don't fall in love with the solution. But people always go back to solution, including us. Somebody will say, Anbu, aren't you getting into solutioning? Oh, okay, God. Yeah, okay. So let me come back. Let's stay with the problem. That has been a hardship for us. Yeah, thank you. Yes, over to you, Professor.
So let me thank you on behalf of NorthCap University. You've been with us for 90 minutes. We wish it was much more than that, of course. We would have liked to hear much more from you. But anyhow, time is not our friend here. So let me thank you on behalf of the university and close the session. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be associated with NorthCap University's initiatives, because I think you mean that, like you said, you mean that real future as a design for the students, and really happy to see that. Thanks for the initiative, taking this initiative and inviting me as well. Thank you so much. All the best, friends.